2010?
Yep.
I think it was August 2010.
Okay.
Okay. So my name is Wayne Ross, and I'm just here to sort of tell the story of what we've been doing for right at 2 years, basically, in the process of initially trying to get modification on our original mortgage, which turned into more than we had ever imagined. Back in August of 2010, we were searching out some help. I was looking at the loan mod because I knew, looking at our finances and everything that was going on medically at home with my daughter and different issues, that we weren't going to be able to keep making the payment. Eventually, it was not going to be enough, so we had to see what we could do. We didn't want to just walk away. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to try and work and do something, but I knew enough to know that I didn't want to do it on my own. So we became in contact with John Dobson and the group here, and we started the process in August 2010 for loan modification with our bank, with Bank of America at that time. And some 9 months later was when we decided to move ourselves into the HAFA program, the Home Affordable Foreclosure Alternative, because for 9 months nothing happened between the bank and us. There was never really any movement. All they really wanted was more paperwork, more paperwork. Our paperwork would expire because it would be months, and they want more paperwork and more paperwork, never coming to the table for any kind of a modification at all. And that was originally what we were seeking, was just modification. So since we qualified for the HAMP program, we qualified as well for HAFA, and we went that route, and we got an agent, and we listed the house, and we had an offer within a couple of days. Began the process of looking for a place for ourselves, because we had an offer, we had everything going, we had positives from Bank of America at the time as we were moving forward. We were continuing the process, we were moving out, we secured another apartment to rent, to move from a 2,100 square foot house to a 1,200 square foot apartment. Did all that process to get ourselves going, because everything was looking good, and everything was good. We get emails saying, okay, this is going forward, back and forth. As we got into some of the final stages of that first offer, we were then informed, my agent was informed by a representative over at Bank of America and Loan Resolution Corporation, that she just realized that it was a HAFA and she could not do HAFA deals, so she had to put basically a freeze on the whole deal and stop everything in its process, which meant we'd have to start from scratch all over again, because she just realized that it was a HAFA and she can't work on HAFA. A week and a half before that, she sent us a counter offer on the HAFA document, wanting us to pay 1 month's rent, and we refused. A week later, sorry, can't help you anymore. Not my area. That was the first time through, and that was June, July-ish of last year. So after that, we talked to them again and got it set up again for HAFA because we were qualified. And then come around Halloween of 2011, we got a 10-page document in the mail from Bank of America saying that we are pleased to inform you that you have qualified to participate in the HAFA short sale program. And it told us how much we needed to get for the house, what we had to do, all those different liabilities. This was 2011, October 31st. The house just sold, not as a HAFA, but as a standard short sale to the same buyers that we got 3 days after this contract was signed. And the entire time, BofA and LRC and Freddie Mac and whoever else kept saying, no, you cannot have HAFA because you don't qualify. But this says we do, from the very bank. Mm-hmm. So every person we would talk to, we would go to Freddie Mac's website, and they kept saying, you make too much money. The 31% rule, it just doesn't work out financially. Well, on Freddie Mac's website, there's nothing about 31%, your gross income, or any of those kind of things, because it doesn't exist as of an article that tells us that in February of 2011 it does not exist. And every time you talk to them about it, well, that's not my department, but you don't qualify. But you said I do qualify. And you told me how much you wanted for the house. And you told me how many days I had. And through this entire process, the house was supposed to be auctioned twice, and they got it postponed twice. multiple different venues and avenues. So we had the paralegals, Brian and Patrick, working. We had a real estate agent working. We got in contact with Raul Labrador's people, and they started working. Final straw, I spoke with a real estate lawyer here locally who said, basically, you have a binding contract with Bank of America, and keep that paper because it's gold. Because she has taken these to judges and made them do what they have said they're going to do. She said we could do that if they resisted the standard short sale, which miraculously, after all this pressure from different sides, they were ready to go on a standard short sale. The first steps through on that, though, of course, with the same buyers. So the buyers who were interested back in October of 2011 have been hanging on all this time through all the hoops and everything that we've been going through. Prior to executing the standard short sale, they wanted $5,000 in cash from us and a $10,000 promissory note, which we all flipped out about. Said there is no way that you're going to do this. And that's when I went to the lawyer, got their input, different kind of stuff. And then now what happened was, in the paperwork for the short sale is that we owe no deficiency between the 160 that they sold it for and the 201 that we owe. So there's no deficiency and no money at the table, no money from us, as long as it completes in funds, which it did. So almost 2 full years later, we went from hoping for the best of some kind of a modification through multiple stacks of different types of things, working with multiple entities within their system, just to get to a point where we got what we wanted. We didn't want to be on the line for the money, but it seemed like they didn't want to give us what and the government tells them. You know, not only do you excuse them from deficiency, but you give them $3,000 for moving. So $3,000 was, I guess, their sticking point, that they just weren't going to do it, because no matter who you talk to, I would send this copies, scan it, multiple people within all of the different organizations, and they would just say, don't know what to tell you. They could never say, this is wrong, right, or indifferent, but everybody else who looked at it is like, yeah, this is what they do.